Have you ever stumbled on something so random it almost felt too perfect to be a coincidence? You weren't searching for this video. You didn't type in ancient knowledge or Thoth's secret or how to activate self-healing. And yet, here you are, at this exact moment, on this exact screen, with these exact words flowing into your ears. Let me ask you something no one ever dares to ask. What if your soul clicked before your finger did? What if there's a part of you, hidden, ancient, powerful, that led you here before your conscious mind could even form a reason why? Because here's the truth that most people never realize. The most important messages of your life don't come when you're ready. They come when your energy is ready. When something inside you has quietly whispered, it's time. Maybe you felt it lately, that quiet restlessness, that odd discomfort. Everything in your life may seem fine on the outside, but deep down, something feels misaligned, like you're walking in circles, like you're remembering something you can't quite name, like there's a truth buried in your bones, but no one ever taught you how to dig. This video is not content. It's a message, a frequency, a mirror. And the reason it found you, not the other way around, is because there's a secret waiting to be unlocked inside you. And it can't wait any longer. So if you've ever felt like there was more to this world, more to your story, more to you, then breathe in, set everything else down. Because what you're about to hear isn't just another idea. It's the turning point.
Now, I want you to pause for just a moment and take this in. You're here, not out there, not distracted, not clicking away, but here, still listening. That matters more than you think. See, in a world overflowing with noise, distractions, and shiny promises, the fact that your focus stayed with this message means your soul recognized something real. It's not about the words, it's about the resonance. And if you've made it this far, I want to invite you into something deeper. No pressure, no big dramatic pitch, just a gentle truth. You're already on the path. The moment you pressed play, your healing began. Maybe not in some grand fireworks way. Maybe it was quiet, subtle, but real. I've seen this happen before. There was a woman, let's call her Maya. She told me she found a video like this during a night of deep loneliness. She wasn't looking for answers, she was just scrolling to numb the silence. But something stopped her. A phrase, a tone, a pause. And from that moment, everything changed. Not because the video was magic, but because she said yes. That's what this moment is. It's your yes. And if this is already stirring something inside you, even if it's just a flicker, I want to ask you for a small, sacred favor. Hit the like button, not from me, but as your own signal to the universe. Subscribe if this resonates, because this journey isn't over. And comment something simple like, I'm ready to remember. That's not just a sentence. That's a declaration, a ripple, a frequency shift. Now, let's take the next step together. Because in the part that's coming, we're going to uncover a truth most people never hear. That you are creating your reality every second, whether you realize it or not. And once you truly understand how, you'll never look at your thoughts the same way again. Let's go deeper.
Here's something that no one teaches us in school, but maybe it's the one lesson that shapes everything. Your thoughts are not invisible. They're not harmless background noise. They are frequency, vibration, and vibration moves things. Let me put it another way. You are like a radio tower. Every thought you think, especially when it's charged with emotion, is a signal being broadcast into the universe. And the universe, it's not ignoring you. It's listening. and responding. Now, I know this sounds poetic, but it's not just philosophy. It's how reality works at a vibrational level. Think about it. Have you ever noticed that when you start your day in a bad mood, everything seems to go wrong? You spill your coffee, you miss the bus, someone cuts you off in traffic, and suddenly the whole day feels cursed. That's not just bad luck. That's resonance. You started broadcasting frustration, and the field around you responded in kind. Now let's flip it. Maybe there was a day when you woke up feeling grateful for no particular reason, and somehow things just flowed. People were kind. Ideas came easily. You weren't lucky. You were aligned. This is the hidden engine behind your life. Not luck, not fate, but frequency. And here's the part most people miss. You're creating your reality whether you're aware of it or not. The only difference is, are you creating it on purpose or are you creating it by default? Because when you're unaware, your thoughts are often recycled, shaped by old fears, unconscious patterns, beliefs that were never truly yours. And those frequencies go out and return like echoes. That's why nothing really changes, even when you try. But when you realize that thought is a tool, that every idea, every belief, every emotion you carry is a vibration you send out, then you're no longer just a passenger. You become a creator. And in the next part, I'm going to show you what happens when this creative power meets one of the most overlooked elements in your daily life. Water. Not just as something you drink, but as a living frequency that listens, stores, and responds. Let's go there next.
Let me tell you something that might change the way you see every moment from now on. You are never not speaking to the universe. Even when your lips are silent, even when you're stuck in your own head, even when you feel completely ignored, you are always communicating. Not with words, but with your frequency, with your mood, your patterns, your emotions, even the ones you try to hide. It's like there's an invisible conversation happening 24/7 between your inner world and the world around you. And here's the truth most people never realize. The universe responds to the signals you send, not the ones you wish you were sending. Let me give you a simple example. There was a man I once met. Let's call him Jonah. Jonah was smart, hardworking, and kind. But no matter what he did, he kept getting passed up for opportunities. Job interviews didn't land. People overlooked his ideas. He felt invisible. When we talked, I noticed something subtle. Every time he spoke about himself, even casually, his words were soaked in doubt. I'm probably not ready yet. I always mess up somehow. I just want to be lucky for once. That wasn't just self-talk. That was a broadcast. And life was echoing it right back. Now compare that to a woman I know named Leela. She's not louder, not luckier, but her energy, it says, I trust life. And life trusts her right back. So the lesson is simple, but powerful. If you want life to answer differently, you have to speak to it differently. And that begins inside. Because whether you realize it or not, your energy field is in constant conversation with the universe. And the most beautiful part, you don't have to master some perfect script. You just have to become more conscious of what you're already saying. Now, what if there was a way to take this invisible conversation and turn it into something tangible, something you could see, feel, and even drink? That's what we're about to explore next. A forgotten ritual using one of the most ancient elements on Earth, water. Not just as a symbol, but as a vessel for your energy. Let's dive in.
There's something sitting in your kitchen right now. Something so ordinary,
so overlooked that we forget how sacred it truly is. Water. We drink it. We bathe in it. We wash our dishes, our clothes, our bodies. But how often do we remember that water listens? See, the ancients knew what modern science is only beginning to rediscover. Water is not just matter, it's memory. And when paired with intention, it becomes a technology. Let me explain. Every drop of water has the ability to absorb vibration. Your words, your thoughts, your emotions. It's like a blank slate waiting to be written on. And when you place that water under natural light, the sun or the moon, something powerful begins to happen. It's not superstition, it's resonance. A simple, clear glass, a quiet moment, a focused intention. You don't need crystals or candles or ancient chants, just presence. Here's what you do. Take a glass of mineral or filtered water. Place it under direct sunlight for at least 30 minutes, or under the moonlight if it's nighttime. And while the water rests in the light, you rest too. Close your eyes. Place your hands near the glass and breathe. Ask yourself, what do I want this water to carry? Relief from stress? Healing for the body? Clarity for the mind? And then feel it. See the light moving through the water. See your intention soaking in. Not rushing, not forcing. Just being. Fully there. This is not magic. This is consciousness. And when you drink that water or use it to wash your face or mist your space, you're not just hydrating. You're inviting your own vibration back into your body, amplified, clarified, and encoded with care. Let me share something with you. A friend of mine, David, began doing this ritual every morning before work. At first, he felt silly. I mean, it's just water, right? But after a week, something shifted. He felt calmer, more clear, more grounded. And the weirdest part? The people around him noticed too, before he ever told them. Because water doesn't just change you. It changes the field around you. And if something as simple as a glass of water can carry that much frequency, what happens when you pair it with another powerful force of nature? That's what we'll explore next. The silent amplifiers of energy. Crystals. Let's keep going.
If water is the carrier of energy, then crystals are the amplifiers. And no, I'm not talking about pretty rocks you see at a gift shop. I'm talking about something far more ancient and far more intelligent. Crystals are Earth's memory, formed over thousands, sometimes millions of years, deep under pressure and heat. Their molecular structure is so stable, so mathematically precise that they naturally hold and emit consistent frequencies. That's not spiritual poetry, that's physics. It's the same reason we use quartz in watches and computers, because quartz doesn't guess time, it holds time. It vibrates at a perfect rhythm, over and over again. Now imagine if a crystal can hold a digital signal, why wouldn't it also be able to hold a vibrational one? Let me give you an example. There was a woman named Elena, a school teacher, single mom, overwhelmed, exhausted. She started doing the water ritual, and it helped, but her emotions still felt heavy, like something old was still lingering. So she added one small thing, rose quartz, just placed beside the glass, never touching the water, and something softened. She told me it felt like her heart had space to breathe again, not all at once, but gently, quietly. So what happened? Rose quartz carries a frequency of unconditional love and emotional healing, and when placed near water with intention, it acts like a tuning fork, amplifying what you already asked for,
and anchoring it. Different stones hold different notes, like a symphony of silent instruments. Amethyst soothes anxiety. Selenite clears stuck energy. Citrine awakens confidence. You don't need a drawer full of gemstones, just the right one with the right intention. But here's the part most people miss. It's not about collecting crystals. It's about communing with them, tuning into their rhythm, letting them remind you of yours. Crystals don't do the work for you. They hold the frequency steady while you do it. Think of them like lighthouses. They won't move the ship, but they guide you through the fog. And when you pair them with water and light and intention, you're not just creating a tool, you're building a field, a living, breathing, responsive field of frequency. And that field, it gets even stronger when you understand the final element in this energy trio, color. Not just as decoration, but as vibration. Let's open that next.
You probably already know what your favorite color is, but have you ever stopped to ask why? Why does blue calm you? Why does orange spark your creativity? Why does pink make you feel safe? It's not random, it's resonance. Color is not just something you see, it's something you feel. Because every color is light, and light is vibration. And vibration, as we've been exploring, is the language of the universe. Each color carries a specific frequency that speaks to a part of you most people never tune into, your chakras. Now, don't let that word intimidate you. You don't need to be a yogi or a mystic to understand this. Chakras are just energy centers, places in your body where emotion, thought, and life force gather and flow. And color? It's the tuning fork that helps bring those centers back into harmony. Let's make it real. You're feeling creatively blocked, your ideas are dry, your spark is dim. So you choose orange, the color of the sacral chakra, the center of creativity, pleasure, movement. You place your water on an orange cloth. You visualize orange light soaking in with your intention, and day by day you start to feel more alive, less stuck, like something inside you is waking back up. Or maybe you've been anxious, your mind won't slow down. Try blue, the color of the throat chakra, associated with clarity, truth, and calm. You let your water bathe in that soft frequency, and suddenly your breath deepens, your voice steadies. That's not placebo, that's vibrational medicine. Even pink, often dismissed as sweet or sentimental, holds incredible power. Healing for the heart, softness for the soul. Try using pink when you're healing grief or learning to love yourself again. And here's something beautiful. You're not limited to one color. You can layer them, create combinations based on the kind of energy you want to build. Just remember, as always, color without intention is just decoration. But when you add presence, purpose, and emotion, it becomes a frequency map, tuning you back to who you really are. And when you combine it with water, light, and crystals, you're not doing a ritual anymore. You're conducting energy. But there's still one final piece, the one most people overlook completely. Because none of this, not the colors, not the crystals, not even the light, truly works without you. Let's talk about the only ingredient that matters more than any other, your presence.
Let's take a deep breath together right now. Inhale and slowly let it go. Because what I'm about to say is probably the most important part of this entire journey. None of this works without you. Not the water, not the light, not the crystals, not the colors. These are beautiful tools, yes, but tools are just that, tools. The real magic is your presence. Let me explain. Have you ever followed a guided meditation or done a ritual or even said a prayer, but your mind was somewhere else entirely? You went through the motions, but it felt hollow. You did the steps, but something was missing. That something was you. There's a big difference between doing something and being in it, between saying words and letting those words vibrate from your heart. I once spoke with a man named Jalen. He told me he had tried all the energy rituals, candles, baths, sound bowls, but felt like nothing ever changed. So I asked him one question. When you did them, were you truly there? He was quiet for a long moment, then said softly, I don't think I've been anywhere for years. And that's when everything shifted. Because presence isn't about perfection. It's about showing up fully, honestly, with whatever you have in that moment, even if it's messy, tired, or unsure. Presence says to the universe, I'm here, and I mean this. And the universe? It listens very differently when you're fully awake inside what you're doing. This is what Thoth meant when he said, the mind governs energy, and energy shapes matter. Not the scattered mind, not the doubting mind, but the present mind, the focused heart, the conscious being who realizes, I'm not just participating in this ritual, I'm activating it. So the next time you sit with a glass of water or hold a crystal or light a candle, don't rush, don't multitask, don't check the box. Just pause. Be here. Let the silence stretch, because it's your energy that animates the sacred. And once you understand that, you're ready for what comes next. The shift from self-healing to space healing, from your inner world to the energy around you. Let's explore that together.
Let's imagine something together. You've done the ritual, you've charged the water, you've chosen your crystal, you've sat in stillness. You feel lighter, clearer, more grounded. But then you walk into your kitchen or your bedroom or your workspace, and the air feels heavy again. Like the space itself is still echoing an old version of you. Because here's a truth many people overlook. Your space holds memory too. Just like water, just like crystals, the walls around you absorb energy. Every argument, every anxious night, every unspoken emotion, it lingers. Not because the space is bad, but because it's loyal. It holds on to what you bring until you bring something new. And the beautiful part is that something new is already in your hands. The very same charged water that helps you internally can be used to shift the external field around you. Just a light mist in the corners of the room, a gentle pour at the roots of a plant, even placing a small bowl of that water in a quiet corner of your home. What you're doing isn't decoration. You're reprogramming the frequency of the space, and you don't have to explain it to anyone. The shift will speak for itself. I remember a woman named Ray who told me she started misting her living room every morning with her intentioned water. No incense, no big ritual, just that. Her teenage son, who never paid much attention to her practices, walked in one day and said, "Why does it feel different in here?" She just smiled. Because when your inner shift becomes consistent, your space starts listening. And then something even more beautiful happens. people who walk into that space feel seen, feel safe, feel softened, without a word. So remember this, healing isn't selfish. Your transformation doesn't stop with you. It creates a ripple across rooms, relationships, and even timelines. And when you realize just how far that ripple can go, you're finally ready for the next truth, that you never needed the tools at all, because the real center of healing was never outside of you. Let's return to that center together.
Up until now, we've talked about tools, about light, water, crystals, color, ritual. All beautiful, all powerful. But if you could sit across from Thoth himself, the ancient keeper of sacred knowledge, he wouldn't hand you a crystal. He wouldn't place a glass of charged water in your palm. He'd look you in the eyes and simply say, "You are the source." Not the tool, not the technique, you. Because here's the final teaching, the one most people never embody. Everything you seek to activate outside already lives inside. Every frequency you project through water, light, or sound begins within your own field. Yes, tools help. They train your focus. They amplify your presence. They guide your energy. But they are not the origin. You are. Let me tell you about Aaron. He was new to all of this. He didn't own any crystals, didn't have special glass jars or chakra charts. What he did have was a moment. One morning, overwhelmed and heart-heavy, he sat alone on his porch. He placed both hands over his chest, closed his eyes, and whispered to himself, "I send calm through my breath. I release what's not mine. I return to center." He didn't call it a ritual, but that moment changed something. Because intention paired with presence is enough to shift an entire field. You don't need the moonlight. You are the moonlight. You don't need to hold rose quartz to feel love. You are the vibration of love when you choose it. And that is the heart of Thoth's final teaching. The mind governs energy, and energy shapes matter. But it's not about controlling your mind. It's about inhabiting it with clarity, with purpose, with truth. So if you've ever believed that healing was locked behind expensive tools or spiritual gurus, let this be the moment you remember. Your body is the temple. Your breath is the prayer. Your presence is the code. And now that you've remembered the source inside you, there's only one thing left to do. Live it. Because this doesn't end here. The real transformation begins when you walk back into your life and bring this energy with you. So in the final part of our journey, we're going to ground all of this into something practical. How to live aligned every single day, without rituals, without scripts, just by being you. Let's close the circle and begin again. So now you know. You've seen how intention becomes vibration, how lights, color, water, and crystal respond, and how at the center of it all is you. But what now? What happens after the ritual ends, after the video fades, after you go back to your day? Here's the truth. The real practice begins where the ceremony ends. Because spiritual awakening isn't about grand gestures once a week. It's about subtle choices,
made moment by moment that align with the energy you say you want to live in. That's what it means to embody the code. It means noticing your breath when you're about to react and choosing peace instead of panic. It means standing in line at the store and instead of scrolling through noise, you tune inward, even for 10 seconds. It means blessing your coffee in the morning with a word of gratitude, not because it changes the drink, but because it changes you. It means remembering, even when life feels chaotic, that you are the one broadcasting the frequency into the field, and the field is listening. I knew someone named Marcus who carried a crystal in his pocket for years, but the shift didn't happen until he realized the crystal isn't what gives me strength. It reminds me to return to my strength. That's embodiment. And once you step into that way of being, where your thoughts, emotions, words, and actions flow from one clear place of awareness, you don't just heal yourself. You become the space that heals others without trying to. People will feel it in your presence, in your stillness, in your softness, in your power that no longer needs to prove anything. So let this be the moment you shift from learning to living. And if you've made it this far, if these words stirred something deep in you, then it means you're ready. Ready to remember who you are. Ready to walk with intention. Ready to become the code itself. And before you go, take a moment to honor yourself. Not because you finished a video, but because you showed up for your soul. Now I'd love to hear from you. In the comments below, write, "I am the frequency. I am the field." So I know this message reached you, so the universe hears your signal loud and clear. And if you want to continue this journey with me, there's another message waiting, one I made just for you. It'll appear at the end of this video. Click it when you're ready. I'll meet you there.